everybody, to another episode of the Bright Lights Podcast. I'm your host, Deeks, joined as always by my two wonderful co-hosts, Mr. Mahoney
What's up, guys?
and PT.
Oh my goodness, it feels good to be back, boys.
We're back.
Gentlemen,
It's good.
I can't even tell you when the last time all three of us were on this podcast together.
It's been a minute.
It's been a pretty fat minute since we've been able to talk sports together, but
But we're
I'm
back.
really glad that we're all back in our little triangle of love here on Bright Lights Podcast.
Yes.
To be able to talk some NBA free agency, something we don't really talk about that much. Basketball.
Basketball's back, though, baby. We're going to be talking about it a lot more.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
we just kind of been dragging a little bit, but now that the NBA is kind of watchable again, and there's not like who's gonna win the whole thing, we could probably dabble into some basketball talk. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk an NBA free agency recap now that all the primary big name free agents are pretty much all off the board. We can finally talk about their landing spots, how they fit, and stuff like that.
Yep.
So as always, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like to waste your time or ours. We're going to go ahead and get this started off with something that happened premature to the free agency occurring. It just became official a couple days ago on July 6th.
Yep.
The Anthony Davis trade from the New Orleans Pelicans to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers got, obviously, Anthony Davis, power forward, superstar of the New Orleans Pelicans. In exchange, they gave up a shit ton of draft picks.
So much.
One which ended up becoming the fourth overall pick, which the Pelicans would end up flipping on draft day to the Hawks, and just a ton of young talent: Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart. In exchange for Anthony Davis, obviously New Orleans had the number one pick in the draft, and they selected Zion Williamson. So with that young core going for them, the Pelicans low-key have probably the best young core in all of basketball. They got Lonzo, B.I., Zion, Josh Hart. So many first-round picks to build across. So, guys, I've been seeing a lot of things on Twitter, a lot of reactions, a lot of reaction videos on YouTube as well as to how this trade, who won this trade, who's going to win this trade. So, what do you guys think about Mr. Anthony Davis and his trade to the Los Angeles Lakers?
Honestly, I think it's even on both sides. Honestly, Lakers got the ready-to-go talent in Anthony Davis. He's going to be a great addition to that team, but the Lakers got rid of some parts that they didn't really need. The Pelicans definitely needed it, so works out on both ends. Wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers are in the finals or even win it this year with LeBron and Anthony Davis teaming up. Yeah, I think it's pretty even on both sides because it gives Pelicans a great outlook on the future.
No, yeah, basically just touch on the same thing, Mahoney. It's kind of even, especially if you look at it right now. Definitely the Lakers won, obviously, because you get Anthony Davis. But when you look into the future, the Pelicans won big time. You kind of see this developing in other sports, kind of growing the younger core. You see in baseball quite a bit that we've talked about quite a bit. Both of our teams have been doing that. I think the Pelicans, with this just loaded ammunition that they have for the next couple of draft years, and it's going to be unreal to see what they do with that. They can flip their picks. They can use their picks. They've got a lot of leeway and leverage in the next couple of years. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big time. This is a pretty big time trade. Obviously, for the Lakers, they're in win now mode. LeBron's not getting any younger. They saw an opportunity with the Warriors kind of being derailed by injuries this year. Klay Thompson's going to be out. KD's obviously gone, which we'll talk about in a second. But the Western Conference is wide open. They saw an opportunity. They took it. They ran away with it. And LeBron gets probably the best player he's ever played with in his career. A guy who can play off the pick and roll really well with him, who can stretch the floor, who can obviously is a defensive player of the year candidate, probably one of the top 5, top 10 players in all basketball when he's fully healthy. So definitely a big win for both sides. Obviously, New Orleans kind of gets to restart. They kind of fucked up AD's career. By not being able to put quality talent around him.
Yeah, but the Lakers got their guy. The Lakers got their guy.
Yeah, I mean, and the Lakers gave LeBron the guy he needs to win a championship. So win-win for both sides. I don't have a problem with it. Nope. Let's move on to actual free agency news. We're going to start off with the Brooklyn Nets. The
Brooklyn Nets. New York had a big one.
Winning the NBA free agency this offseason, signing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to max contracts. Obviously, Durant is not going to play this year with his Achilles injury. He will probably miss the whole season. I would assume he'll miss the whole season. But when he comes back, baby, that's a pretty scary core right there.
No doubt.
Kyrie and KD. They have a ton of young talent around them. They have.
Didn't they make the playoffs this past year?
No, they did not make the playoffs this last year. I think they were the 9 seed, but still a very young, talented core they got going on there. Karis LeVert out of Michigan, guy who snapped his ankle in half. He came back. He's a pretty solid guy right there. They got some young talent from the Warriors, so Brooklyn is building a good core. With Kyrie and KD. Question I have for you guys is, we know Kyrie Irving, kind of a weird fit. I mean, the guy left Cleveland. He got traded from Cleveland over to Boston to kind of be the top dog, the main guy. Didn't really pan out for him there in Boston. I mean, he got hurt, so he didn't.
No, he
really
seemed
play.
like he hated Boston at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't seem like he gelled well with the young guys, and obviously Brooklyn's got a ton of young guys. They're probably only going to have young guys as they have to surround those kind of players on cheap contracts around their 2 big stars. So, how do we think that this Kyrie Irving fit is going to work with all the young guys around the Brooklyn Nets?
I'm going to say it. Brooklyn's not going to do anything this next year. I don't think Kyrie is going to, like you were saying with the fit and everything, I don't think he's going to fit well with all the young guys, but once KD steps into that role, kind of takes that leadership role with those younger guys, because I don't think Kyrie has what it takes to really take those younger guys under their wing. Like you said, he's kind of a weird guy. So once KD steps in, the Brooklyn Nets are going to be dangerous. I don't see them doing anything this year. They'll sneak into the playoffs because, conference is awful. But after that, after this year, they're going to take strides, and they're going to be very dangerous in 2 years.
No, yeah. I just kind of see one issue here. I don't see the 2 meshing very well. I think it's kind of a weird fit. These 2 characters have had issues in the past. Obviously, Kyrie in Boston and KD with Draymond.
Yep.
I think they both are kind of
they're going to butt
antisocial.
heads.
And I think they're also they almost kind of have to be a superstar on the team if you think about it. So, I think, I could see, Kawhi maybe, or not Kawhi, Kyrie with, LeBron or something like that. But, it's just, I don't see him with KD. In my mind, I just don't see it working at all.
Yeah, I mean, and the big reason why we saw Kyrie get traded away from the Cleveland Cavaliers was the fact that he wanted to be a top dog. He wanted to be the number 1 option on a championship team. He wanted to be his own guy. And first of all, I just don't think he's that player. I don't think he's the kind of player that can will your team to a championship, that can be the number 1 scoring option on a championship caliber team. And 2, I mean, Kevin Durant's the same guy. He's a top dog. He was the top dog in Oklahoma City. I think it really pissed him off that everybody thought that Steph was the number 1 player on the Golden State Warriors. And I think it's just going to piss him off a little bit that Kyrie's going to want the ball in his hands. Kyrie's going to want to take that game-winning shot, even though Kevin Durant is the more talented player. He's the better player. He's a more established player. He's been able to lead a team to a championship before. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to be that good of a fit either, PT. I agree with you here. But who knows? Maybe these guys who are pretty known friends off the court find a way to figure it out, find a way to gel together, and Brooklyn can finally win.
If they do gel, Brooklyn's going to be in for a ride.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty electric, and that's going to be pretty exciting. So, another team that's going to be very exciting that kind of came out of fucking nowhere this offseason is the Los Angeles Clippers.
Old Lob City's back, baby.
Big old LA just dropping dick on the NBA.
Yep.
Signed Kawhi Leonard to a max contract, and then probably about 5 minutes later, just casually traded for Paul George.
Yep.
They had to give up a shit ton for Paul George. They gave up 6 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And 2 quality young players. But this is a team that I believe saw an opportunity to get Kawhi Leonard, who's probably top 3 player in basketball this upcoming season with Kevin Durant being hurt. And then they decided to pair him with a guy who Kawhi was very clear about that he wanted to play with, which is obviously Paul George. And then they just put together an elite 1-2 punch with some other young guys still on that roster. I mean, big time move from the Los Angeles Clippers. I think they're
big time.
They're the title favorites right now, Vegas wise, and in my opinion too. I think that front court of Pat Bev, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George is probably going to lock every team up in all basketball. It's going to be really hard to score on them from the wing, but big time signing for the Clippers. They're definitely in it to win it this year.
Yep. Not a lot of people know this, but when I was a little boy, little old Brandon, I was a big Clippers fan, believe it or not. They're still my second team. I love the Bulls now, even though they're absolute trash. But it's fun. Basketball is going to be huge in LA this year. It's going to be ginormous. It's going to be everywhere. Billboards everywhere. LeBron, Kawhi. They're going to be button heads. It's going to be a fun time in LA to watch basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be electric. It's going to be it's kind of always been like the Lakers and then their baby brother in the Clippers,
Yep.
and now it's finally going to be even. Like we have a battle for Staples Center, a battle for LA. Legitimately, could be a Los
Those
Angeles.
games are going to be insane.
Yeah, it could be these two teams facing off in the conference finals for a chance to win a championship. Obviously, the Clippers have never won one. The Lakers have won the second most in the whole league. So that right there, the rivalry, the backstory, the sharing the same stadium and everything is just going to be super electric. And that both teams are competitive enough to compete for a championship is just good for basketball, in my opinion.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree with you guys more. I don't think I've been ever this excited about the NBA.
Oh no, not
after the Golden State kind of formed their so and so super team, I never watched again, and now I'm getting so excited because there's going to be good basketball played. You have at least a handful of even teams across the board that are going to be freaking good games, and I'm telling you that LA's going to be rocking. LA's going to be crazy. It's just going to be nuts.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Agree.
That rivalry is just going to be rejuvenated again, and I mean, it's just going to be awesome. Basketball's finally back, so that's just good for the sport, good for everybody that likes watching basketball. Let's move on to Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets,
baby.
Marquette University grad Jimmy Butler, sign and trade to the Miami Heat.
All right, before you start, explain the sign and trade because I feel like I don't know a lot about it, and maybe some of our listeners can benefit from you explaining. Is there more to it than just signing and trading?
No. I mean, usually when a sign and trade happens, yeah, you just sign it and then you trade with a. So it's basically the players signing a max contract with you because that's how they can make the most money. Because when players sign or are eligible for max contracts, their contract will be higher if they sign with the team that they just got finished playing with. So the player signs a max contract, he gets traded away to another team of his choice, and that way the team that is losing him, or in a way would be losing him in free agency, does not lose him for anything. Like if Jimmy Butler just walked and signed with the Heat, the Sixers would get nothing. So in this sign and trade, not only were the Heat able to make the money work because they were able to send Jimmy Butler away, obviously, but the Sixers were able to get a player in return. So the sign and trade, this one was pretty complicated. Very rarely are four teams involved. The Heat received Jimmy Butler. The Sixers got Josh Richardson. The Trailblazers got Hassan Whiteside. And the Clippers got a first-round pick from the Heat, which they then flipped to the Thunder for Paul George, and they got Mo Harkless. And Portland actually also sent Myers Leonard to Miami. So a ton of guys moving across the league. The big ones are Whiteside going to Portland and Jimmy Butler going to Miami. Those two made the money work. Whiteside's due a shit ton of money. Obviously,
how do you feel about Whiteside, Deegs? How do you feel about him?
Oh, he sucks balls. So I'm just so happy that he's gone. He's just fucking horrible.
What happened to him? He was such a big deal a couple years ago.
I don't know. He can go suck balls on Portland. I really don't care. But
all I care about that is Myers Leonard, big Illinois guy. Shout out
Illinois. He's kind of a guy, dude. He's like a fucking athletic freak.
He's pretty good.
Just dunks on everything.
He's underrated, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's gonna play a lot for the Heat, so that's pretty good. But Jimmy Buckets, baby, in the 305, coming in to lead the young guys. The big one here is now that they got Jimmy Butler, Pat Riley is just dropping his cock across the whole league, and it's going out. Now they're these Russell Westbrook rumors, like they're about to pair up two of the top dogs in the league. I'm ready to go, baby. If Oklahoma City trades Russell Westbrook to the Heat, I might get a boner like right
How
there.
much do you think they'd have to give up for Russell Westbrook, though?
They would have to give up Goran Dragic, Justice Winslow, Kelly Olynyk to make the money work, and whatever first-round picks they have left for the next 3 years.
Are you good with that? Are you good with that?
they get Westbrook, they better win a fucking title, dude. They better win a fucking title. Because if they're going to pay Jimmy and Westbrook like $80 million combined each year and they don't win a chip, I'm going to be pretty pissed off.
Which
But,
$80 million in the NBA is not like $80 million in the MLB.
no, because there's a salary cap.
Yeah,
so it's actually a lot of money.
All right, I got a question for you. All right, we were talking about if KD and Kyrie will work together.
Oh,
do you
God.
think these
No.
two alphas,
No.
Westbrook?
No
I'm
way.
going to be honest. Okay.
No way do they work out.
I don't think they would work out enough to bring Miami a championship. But I do think that they would work out to the point where it would make everybody around them better.
Mm-hmm.
Because Russell Westbrook, whatever you think about him, is without a doubt the most competitive motherfucker in the entire NBA. He goes 150% on every single play, every single game for 40 minutes a night. And Jimmy Butler, the big reason that Jimmy Butler wanted out of Minnesota is because he was sick and tired of all those pussy bitches around him not giving 110% on defense every single time, which Westbrook does, and the Heat are known for the whole #Heat culture thing, where they just grind the shit out of games and just grind and wear you down on defense. So, if they can get Westbrook and they can bring him in and they can somehow find a way to keep Justice Winslow and not get rid of him, that would be a ridiculous team. Do I think they'll work out offensively? I'm not really sure. I think Westbrook could probably create some offense for Jimmy just because he's a really good passer.
Yeah.
But I think he will take up some shots away from Jimmy, which would probably piss him off. But I mean, it would make the Heat better. Obviously, Russell Westbrook is one of the best players in basketball.
Easily,
He's averaged a triple-double like the last 3 years. So we'll see. I mean, honestly, who knows? Maybe just they'll be able to pair together. Jimmy Butler's a really good player off the ball, so time will tell. I honestly think that he's going to get traded at some point. I don't think Westbrook will be on the Thunder.
No, I don't think so either. Now that these rumors are going, I don't think so.
I just don't know where he'll get traded to. I could
coming to the Chi-Town, baby. He's coming to the Chi.
Slightly make me angry. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. Let's move on. Let's move on. We got to keep the show on the road here.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell. What the fuck, dude? This really pissed me off. D'Angelo Russell last year averaged a nice little 22 points per game.
Yep.
Nice little breakout year. Shot well from the 3-point line. 7 assists, not bad for a guy who's primarily a scoring point guard. Kind of had a breakout year. Still incredibly young. I mean, I think he's he's 23 years old. Eligible for a max contract this year. Signs a max contract. Not with the Brooklyn Nets. Not with the Detroit Pistons, not with the Lakers, not with the Suns, with the fucking Golden State Warriors. Are you kidding me? These assholes lose Durant, and then they get D'Angelo Russell, who's one of the upcoming
Now, what's up with all these rumors about him possibly being traded again, though?
Yeah, so I guess.
And actually, I just looked it up. There's links with him to the Bulls.
What they're doing is they're gonna bring him in this year with Clay out the whole year, and they're going to see how he fits next to Steph. And if it doesn't work, they're just going to trade him for something else. It's genius. It's brilliant. And
that is really smart.
It pisses me off to the max because these douchebags just keep getting better and better. I mean, they lose Kevin Durant, and they get D'Angelo Russell, who obviously is not Kevin Durant.
But he's still very good.
Yeah, he's still a quality basketball player.
Dude, I feel bad for D'Angelo Russell. I feel like he's been thrown around like crazy in his short NBA career.
Yeah, he's really good, too. I mean,
know.
He's a young star on the rise. I think that he would have been a perfect fit.
He just can't find his fit right now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he was a really good fit in Brooklyn. Obviously,
he was.
They just figured that Kyrie was a better option, which I'm not really sure how I feel about that. But
I don't know either.
I think he would have been a great fit for a team like Phoenix, who really needs a point guard,
or Chicago,
Detroit, even the Bulls, I guess, which would never happen. But I mean, I'll let you think that
the Bulls have a lot of trade pieces, believe it or not, Deegs.
He would have been a good fit in Milwaukee, I think. There's so many places where this guy could have gone and been Minnesota was pretty big on him, and he just goes and plays for the Warriors. I mean, obviously,
Dub City, baby.
I'm not going to say that Golden State was his first option because it was a sign-in trade. So the Nets probably approached him and said, "Hey," because he was a restricted free agent. They said, "Hey, we're going to ship you out to Golden State. Are you cool with that?" I'm going to guess he said yes because I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to go play in Golden State. But I mean, yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Hopefully, he plays well. I could definitely see him get moved with the Warriors looking to rebuild now that Kevin Durant is gone and possibly Draymond Green is leaving next year. But yeah, I mean, D'Angelo Russell to the Golden State Warriors. Next guy on the docket here on the Bright Lights podcast docket is former Chicago Bull Derrick Rose.
Love you. We love you in Chicago. Sad that you couldn't come back because Garpax are a piece of shit.
Signing with the Detroit Pistons, I think it's a 2-year deal worth like $15 million.
Not bad.
No, not a bad deal. Pretty decent value for a guy who for a team that desperately needs a point guard. First of all, he'll probably start for them, so hopefully he can contribute to them. They made the playoffs last year as the 8th seed. Have a couple pieces. Blake Griffin had a good year. Andre Drummond, Luke Kennard, a couple young guys on that roster.
He's gonna fit well with them. I
think he is. I mean, hopefully he can keep up the production. I think there will probably be a slight drop-off in production just because this is a guy who I think you can't play more than 20 to 22 minutes a game just because of the injury history. Just to keep him healthy, let him go for a whole year.
But when he is in, he'll be good.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, he'll be fine. But, I mean, PT, you're a big D Rose guy, so how do you feel about this guy?
All right, well, so I was talking to somebody about this. And I know that a lot of Bulls fans were hoping that he'd come home. But I have a question for you guys. Do you think he's scared to come back to Chicago due to the severity of injuries?
I don't think so.
I think he is.
Just due to the fact that he has said in the past year or so that he would love to come back to Chicago.
I think, fuck, dude. I don't want to say this because like I feel so bad for the guy, but I feel like he kind of feels like he disappointed the Bulls fan base.
No, he said that he has. I think he knows that
Yeah, which I feel like he'd be kind of scared to, dude, because the Bulls like needed a point guard. They settled for Thomas Satoransky, who they paid more money to for Derrick Rose. Like I think they easily could have got him if they made him the same offer, or maybe even a little bit more money. I just feel like I don't know why. I just had this gut feeling that he's kind of scared to come back to Chicago.
It's possible. It is possible because I remember right before we traded him, Chicago fans hated Derrick Rose.
Yeah, because they let him down. Like they felt that he was supposed to be the next guy to lead them to a championship, and it just never happened. Like the guy couldn't stay healthy. Even after he tore his ACL the first time, he came back and tore it again.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. PT, what do you think?
Yeah, so I agree with Deegs. I just don't think he wants to come back. I think it's in his head that he's had his 2 severely life injuries. So I think that's in his head. Like I said, he let us. I mean, he thinks that he let everyone down, and I don't think that thinks in his own mind that he's capable to live up to what everyone wants him still to. And I think there's still people out there that think that if he comes back, that they'd want him to do the same thing. And I just think that he just knows that he can't do it.
Yeah. And you know what? I think it would be good for the relationship between Derrick Rose and Bulls fans right now if he just didn't come back because, we see it all over Twitter. Bulls fans, including me, PT, we love Derrick Rose. We always will.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that if he does come back and people are going to expect the world out of him, he's going to be a subpar point guard. They're just going to destroy him again. Like this is only a lose situation if he comes back to the Bulls if he's not an all-star or MVP candidate.
I also kind of feel like Derrick Rose is the kind of guy that doesn't really I don't want to say doesn't play well because he has proved it before.
Oh yeah.
But ever since his injury, I feel like he's kind of a small market guy. Like we saw him in New York, he was bad.
Yeah.
And then he went over to play in Minnesota and he was good. And now he's playing in Detroit, which is a small market. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays in Detroit. Maybe it is a small market. Maybe
and
a
it's
guy
close
like
to
that,
home, too. So maybe that's what he wanted. He wanted a small market close to home.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a guy who's kind of out of the spotlight. Not many people really focus in on the Detroit Pistons. He can just play his game freely with all the stress off his shoulders, all the past behind him, and just go out and play what he loves to do, play basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, cool story. I'm kind of glad that he got that career resurgence that he had last year. But let's move on. Chris Middleton and Tobias Harris, two players last season, kind of breakout years. Chris Mid, number 2 option on the Milwaukee Bucks. Tobias Harris last year, super underrated guy.
Yep.
Started his career out with the Orlando Magic.
Bucks
found his way.
Yeah.
Found his way onto the Los Angeles Clippers, and both these guys signed max contracts with their returning teams. Middleton obviously going back to the Bucks, Harris with the 76ers. Not big news here, just kind of wanted to mention two guys.
Yeah, but the Bucks are trying to hold on their stuff, trying to do what they did last year again. So good for them.
The Bucks obviously they need a number 2 guy behind Giannis. Middleton served pretty well in that role last year. Tobias Harris, I mean, that Sixers team is kind of crazy right now. They lost Jimmy Butler. They got Jay Rich. They don't really have a lot of shooting. He kind of does provide some shooting for them. So just wanted to mention 2 guys that went back to their teams. A guy who did not go back to his team, actually a ton of guys that didn't go back to their teams. Kemba Walker signed a super max contract with the Boston Celtics. Will be, I believe, the highest paid point guard in all of basketball next season. The Celtics lose Kyrie Irving. They replace him with Kemba Walker.
I think Kemba Walker is going to work better than Kyrie did in that atmosphere.
I do too. I feel like Kemba's the kind of guy that could share the ball more. He's more willing of a passer. He's never played on a really good team before. The Hornets really had never been a quality basketball team in his time there. So I think that he could come in to Boston in a big market with a good roster around him and be that guy that can help lead them to a high seed in the Eastern Conference. I don't think he's the number 1 option on a championship caliber team, but he's a quality point guard. He's a 20-plus point scorer. Obviously, we all know how clutch he is from his days at UConn in the NCAA tournament. But pretty big move here from the Boston Celtics. They lose their star point guard, replace him with a guy who's just as good that can get the job done for them. So I mean, yeah, pretty big time. You'll hear about Boston.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I have a bunch of Boston Celtics friends, and all I know is that they're stoked about this. My friend Anthony Ruggles, shout out Anthony Ruggles, he's all up in his head with how good they're going to be now with Kemba. So hopefully that he can make my friends happy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. I still think they have a ton of needs to address. A guy they lost that is definitely a need they have to address is Mr. Al Horford. Originally, this is kind of
Taco.
Mr.
Taco, baby.
I hate you. I despise both.
I don't care.
I'm just trying to talk.
We don't care.
Crazy.
And you just start saying taco. Like, fuck off.
Taco.
I hate you. I hate all of you. All right. Al Horford. Originally supposed to sign with the Boston Celtics, said he was going to opt out of his contract to take less money with the Celtics. Opted out of his contract and then was just like, fuck off to the city of Boston. He leaves, signs a max deal with the Philadelphia 76ers and whatever the hell they got going on over there. I think they pay too much money for him. I just really don't think he's that good of a basketball player. But, I mean, we'll see. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. He can shoot the 3-ball a little bit, pretty solid rebounder, which is like the one thing the Celtics need. Really good defensive player down low on the block for them. But just kind of a small move here, kind of a guy who I think got overpaid. This is a big one that I really want to talk about. DeMarcus Cousins signing with the Los Angeles Lakers, a guy who last year kind of made the whole NBA hate him by signing with the Warriors. He went ring chasing. He did not win a ring.
He's going again.
Shout out to Toronto. And now he's back. The ring chaser is back.
He's back.
This time with the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers need a center. Really the only center on their roster right now is JaVale McGee, who
McGee, baby.
Who at best is just like a walking meme and an 18 guy.
Yeah.
But DeMarcus Cousins, I think when he's healthy, if he's fully healthy, obviously last year he still dealt with some leg injuries. He was one of the best big men in basketball at times. Him and Anthony Davis played really well together in New Orleans. They're back. They're teammates on the Lakers. So,
that's big.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this boogie fit?
You know what? The Lakers were big ring contenders with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. But with the good chemistry that Anthony Davis and Cousins has, it just adds on to that. And I think it just adds to the fact that they are going to get a ring soon. I feel that LeBron's going to tack on another legacy team to that long list that he has with the Miami Heat.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Boogie's a guy. He's not really that good defensively, but he's a walking double-double.
He's a machine on offense.
Can score down low with literally anybody, and it's just a really good fit. LeBron's really good with big guys. I mean, Chris Bosh was a quality player coming into Miami, but he was really good. He was able to
He possibly turned Chris Bosh into a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I mean, he played with Zydrunas Ilgauskas in Cleveland, who I bet nobody knows who that is. But
no fucking idea.
He was a pretty good player with LeBron there. Obviously, Kevin Love was good with LeBron. He turned Tristan Thompson into a 4-year, $82 million contract. So LeBron can play with big guys. Boogie's as talented as they come down low at the center position. So that's a pretty big time deal for me. Last 3 guys or 4 guys we're going to talk about, just quick highlights. Don't have to go in depth on them. And then we'll just wrap this up. Marc Gasol opted into his player option with Toronto. This was before Kawhi left, so
he might be taking that back.
Yeah, they're kind of paying a 36-year-old $27 million to just not probably make the playoffs this year.
Yep.
Klay Thompson, as we all expected to, re-signed with a max contract to the Golden State Warriors. He will probably be back timetable around February for them. Maybe help them make a late playoff push. Not sure. I kind of have a feeling they'll take it easy with him coming off an ACL injury.
Yep.
Nothing to rush here. I mean, they're probably not going to contend for a championship here. So just kind of get him fully healthy, strive back for a title the following season, and see what happens. This was kind of a big one for me.
Yep, this is a big one too. Yep.
Danny Green signing with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Let's talk about this one a little bit.
He's kind of like one of the best knockdown three-point shooters in all basketball. Has the highest three-point percentage in playoff history. The guy is shooting about 50% in the playoffs. I mean, he's crazy good. He's a 3-and-D guy on the defensive side of the basketball. He's one of the best 2 guards in the league. The big one for me here, and the reason why I kind of want to spend some time talking about this, is that the Lakers intend to start LeBron James at point guard and move Danny Green to the 2 with Kyle Kuzma at the 3, AD and Boogie at the 4 or 5.
That's dangerous.
That one of the best passers of all time, who also happens to be 6'10", is going to be running the point for the Lakers. And I think you're able to do that. Danny Green is the guy that every team in the world wants on their roster. He's the perfect fit next to LeBron. He just stands in the corner and knocks down threes at it's his fucking job. That's exactly what Ray Allen did in Miami. That's exactly what Kyle Korver did in Cleveland. So LeBron is really good when there's a ton of guys surrounding him. When that Heat team won their first title and they went on that ridiculous win streak, it was Shane Battier, Mike Miller, James Ennis, a ton of guys around him that could shoot the ball. Obviously, Ray Allen, Chris Bosh could spread the court. In Cleveland, he had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Kyle Korver. So a ton of guys that can shoot the 3 ball around LeBron James. Typically means success. Danny Green is that guy, one of the best shooters in the league. Big time signing for them. They didn't get him for that much of a cap hit because the Lakers are struggling with money. But I honestly think this is like the missing piece. This is the missing piece for their championship.
I agree 110%.
Right to their championship puzzle. They have Boogie, they have AD, they have obviously LeBron, but this guy is the guy who, in crunch time when they need a knockdown 3, is going to be able to hit it for them. So big time signing by the Lakers, in my opinion.
Yep.
And then kind of the last one here, Malcolm Brogdon.
Wait, before you talk about that, Danny Green going to the Lakers, in my opinion, put the final nail in the coffin for the Toronto Raptors next season. That hurt them.
Yeah, big time.
Kawhi and Danny Green gone. That team's done.
I'm going to go on a limb here, and we could probably revisit this in a couple months or when the next NBA Finals roll around. But when it's all said and done, at the end of this basketball season, I think we're going to look back at this crazy-ass offseason and say to ourselves that Danny Green signing with the Los Angeles Lakers was the sneaky best move that possibly could have happened.
Yep.
I don't think they are legitimate title contenders unless they have a 2-guard next to LeBron that can knock that 3-ball down and still lock up on the defensive side of the ball, and now they do have that. So obviously, tip of the cap to the Lakers front office. They had a shitty offseason last year after signing LeBron. Completely turned that around. They finally put a championship caliber roster around him. So that's just pretty big. Hopefully he gets his 4th ring, and I can keep sucking him off for the time being.
Yep.
Final move: Malcolm Brogdon to the Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon second-round pick out of Virginia a couple years ago, won the Rookie of the Year his rookie season. Kind of the third option on that Bucks team. This one is going to hurt the Bucks, in my opinion. He was a restricted free agent. They had a sign-and-trade with the Pacers. He's making like $70-something million over a 3-year span. Really good young player. The Pacers can pair him next to Victor Oladipo, and that's their backcourt of the future. So Brogdon leaving Milwaukee and joining Indiana is a sneaky good signing. And yeah, man, that's our NBA free agency talk. That's all we got, gentlemen. Do you have to add anything else to this conversation?
No, just that I think sports like the MLB should take after the NBA and get all this shit done in 4 days.
Yeah, dude, fuck. If I have to wait another 7 months for a big name MLB free agent to sign, I just might go lay down on like railroad tracks. Like the NBA offseason is electric, and then the MLB offseason is just complete dog shit.
But you know what though? The thing is though. Actually, no, I take that back. The MLB offseason fucking sucks.
Yeah, there's no way to say it. There's no way to get around it. You can love baseball with all your heart and just still agree on the fact that the offseason sucks balls.
Yeah, it's awful. The fact that people aren't signing until after spring training is fucking brutal.
Yeah, it's just so bad. So that's all we got basketball talk today. We'll probably have more of this stuff coming up, especially with the NBA finally actually being watchable. But yeah, thanks for listening. Always follow us on Twitter at BrightLightsPod. We've kind of been like gone for a little bit. All of us have been pretty busy.
We're fucking back. We are fucking back.
Yeah, the busy part of our summer is down the shitter, and we're back, ready to go.
Yep, and then we'll be back at school in a couple months. We'll be around. We'll be pumping out content.
We are grinding. Okay, we're going to start grinding now. That's a promise. But thank you for listening, as always, and have a good one.
Have a good one, guys. See you later.
Peace out.
Perfect.